All right, and welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're doing something just a little bit different than what we normally do here on the channel, because usually we do like our typical art streams, whether it be our draw streams or dioramas, but today is going to be something a little bit different. It's almost going to be kind of acting as like almost a prequel, almost, if you will, for my show I'm hoping to get started next in March in next year. So, and today we're going to be doing an overview of all of my collection of my Transformers, because that's the main thing I kind of collect. And I just kind of thought it would be kind of a nice little change to kind of do something a little bit different here on the channel. Kind of it's like, let's see, we'll kind of wait, because what I did was I put together a little video or slide show of all my collections. It was a pretty interesting process of trying to get all the work out, but yeah, so I have a video pulled up of all my collections from dating back from 2019 up until now, and we're just gonna kind of go through the collection, see how it's changed over the years, because there has been a very significant sort of shift in my collection over the years. It's been a interesting sort of journey. I'll say that. So, but I'm just gonna wait until we get a few more people in the chat before we start. Just I want to make sure people, make sure people don't miss the intro, because it's gonna be a kind of, because 2019 is kind of like the place where it really all started. There's probably more conversation to be had there. So let me just get my screen saved or shared. Nope, not video file. Don't get. What are we doing? Nope. Share screen. I don't do this very often. Bear with me. Oh, I should probably. Okay. So we got the video shared. And I'll just kind of put it off into the back room for the time being. And while it's going, kind of, I'll pull in the chat. How about that? Let's go on YouTube and do that, and then we can get started on the video. Grab a drink of water real quick. Get my throat nice and ready, so to speak. All right, let's get my stream pulled up. Oh, I gotta mute that first before I do anything. So I think we'll give it about 5 minutes. And then we'll get started on the overview, go through the collection over the years, because there definitely has been a significant shift when it came to, like, very, very quickly, actually, as we'll kind of see when we get to it. But open up, asshole. Thank you. Let's see. What's it? Pull B. Or top 4. Let's see. I think let's see. I think the only ones we did this year, though, were Devastator, Bruticus, and the Drift Shelf. So let's do a top 3 list then. Top 3 then. Oop. And going to the wrong place. Okay. That's the best of 2024. Beach with it's that. There we go. And Hmm. So top 3 dioramas of the year. Didn't we do a whole lot? I think so, anyway. Yeah, we did a whole bunch. Okay. Add to stage. Let's see. Can I do a full screen of that? Hold on, I'm getting tripped out. Oh. Okay. The fucking thing. Okay, there it is. Nice. All right. Give it about 3 more minutes before spread that out, so to speak. So yeah, so basically what we'll be doing today, yeah, the slideshow, and I'll pause and go back and rewind and or go forward if if I have something to say about a certain piece or a certain element to the collection that's changed or what have you. So yeah, 3 more minutes so we can kind of wait. Well, before we get started, actually, before we get into it, really, I'm not too sure if I'll be streaming this next weekend. Because I have to leave on Sunday this weekend for work out of town. So, I'll do stream Friday at some point in the day, maybe in the morning. Just to kind of hold y'all over in case we can't stream on Saturday. But if I can, so. But tomorrow actually at around 10 a.m. That's going to be the collection update, which is going to be very different for this. This is just an overview of everything since 2019. So just going to wait for stream in just a minute. Just grab link. Twitter, and then and you run slow as shit. Oh, fuck up, asshole. Waiting so patiently for Twitter to. It's just waiting for this shit to load up. Probably should have done this beforehand, but fuck it. Got time to kill. Fuck. Okay, I'm using my side. Give me a second, y'all, and then we'll get started. Just retweet my stream out. All right, I'll just retweet that. Quick tweet. And then I'll schedule it for maybe 30 minutes from now. Still go. Okay, and I can't. Okay, I'll tweet that later then. All right. So now that we've got that ready to pop out, yeah, it's been 10 minutes, so we can get started here. So yeah, so starting off 2019. Now these pictures here are not from the year. It's just my nicest. I just put my nicest looking pictures I have of these guys. I need to get real. I need to read this. Going. All right, so we'll start right here. This is actually the very first like shelf I had. This is the Gersby from IKEA, which is I still have this one. This is what houses my kind of buyers nowadays. But my very display space for my Transformers, and these are my very first ones I kind of had in the collection. Now, the Warpath actually is actually the oldest one out of all of them. It has since 2011, 2012. He's a very long standing guy. And then eventually the next guy I got, I think it was Ironhide, and then the Prime and Megatron are the ones I got. And then just went from that. I got like or something like that. I was like, shit, Leader One. Picking that up. So yeah, it was this is where I kind of really started, because I wasn't really collecting as much at this point in time in my life. I was just kind of, very casual with it. I think I had like a little Soundwave, the Legend scale, the Hot Soldiers one, but that was about it for my collection. I wasn't really thinking about it too much. And the thing with this Prime, actually, I got to tell the story. It was about you know what? Well, wait, I'll tell the story in just a minute, because I have a few other Primes in the collection, so I'll kind of tell that story when I get there. It's pretty funny how I got this guy. So to go, I got this is like, I think this, okay, so this is after, so this is after I came home from the Vegas Toy Con. That's where I met Frank Welker and Peter. He's kind of a benchmark character, and you can kind of see Megatron down there rocking out with Soundwave, the mini one. I have Shockwave and then Starscream and Slipstream. So those were all added to the collection, but it's that trip that never leave the collection. I absolutely need the money, because he represents a very significant chapter in my life. I can meet Frank and Peter there, so. Yeah, they look cool, and I almost want to do a collection where I have but yeah, looks good. And and the Starscream, actually, I actually had the MP12, I think it was, Starscream, or the KO version of that, anyways. But he arrived broken. I still have him in my collection. I just have him in jet mode right now. But he came broken. Like some of the hands were fucked up. So, they're a new Starscream. I was like, oh, fuck this MP started getting this Make Toys one. And he's still here to this day. I haven't really swapped him out. I didn't really feel like, even though I think that the Masterpiece is probably the better one, better enough to warrant me swapping. Before the MPs came out and the Deformation Space one, so I never really felt a need to swap out my Make Toys. But later on, I do eventually swap out the Shockwave. There's a closer look at the Megatron, so the Soundwave rocking out. And then that's when I got Grimlock. He's riding. And Megatron's like choking out Starscream. He used to have a lot of fun with these guys. But yeah, it's them. That was my collection for a little while. Just these guys. It was when I got that Grimlock. He was so fucking cool to have him. Like, because I never had a Grimlock before my whole life. And then I was like, fucking, I'm buying this guy. I saved up enough money. I was like, you know, I'm gonna buy this fucking Grimlock. One, like, I'm robot Grimlock, so I'm just like, fuck it, going. And he's probably I'd say he's probably my favorite out of all the figures in my collection. He's still probably my favorite one. Just so cool. And I got Thundercracker, so I got him, the blue boy. And ever the fucking arrive when I order run. So right there. Yeah, easily one of my top favorites. And like a Wheeljack, Smoke Screen, Perceptor, and the big prime up there, which I'll get to in a minute. I don't have it. Yeah, they're very beautiful patches, but they just weren't really. It doesn't really speak to me as much anymore as you know, because it was at a point where it started to become very disenfranchised with Overwatch in general. And so I was like, you know, I like fine ladies, but yeah, they were very, very cool when I had them, but just didn't really see myself fully collecting at all, so didn't really think it was worth the kind of keeping them. So I was gonna go right there pretty soon, but he took fucking forever. I remember to show up, so. And okay, so here we are. So up here, you'll notice I have 3 prime. The AP10 is big, oversized prime. That is small, undersized. Transformers. I didn't really know all the ins and outs of the frame. I was like, oh, shit, Prime? Because I remember seeing it for like $30, $40. I was like, oh, shit, Prime, this good looking, you know, for $30, $40. Because I thought it was going to be this guy, MP10, but it ended up being the smaller version. I was like, oh, this is why it's $30. When it came, I was like, embarrassed. And it came at the same time as Ironhide, right? And so it was like the most embarrassing thing ever. I was like, this little dude, it's like, what's going on here? Yeah. So, or was it him or was it the big boy? It might have been the big guy, actually. I can't remember which one I got first, actually, the big boy, but basically I got one of them, and I thought it was the MP10, the proper MP10, but it turned out not to be. And so, yeah, I had to, so it took me 3 fucking tries to get the right prime. So, it was a funny story. I still have this big prime. I just have it upstairs now, and I have the smaller prime in my Optimus little shrine, which we'll kind of see more of as we go along here. And yeah, nothing much change here. Oh, here in the Grimlock print signed by Greg Brugger, which is a very, very prized piece in my collection. Like all the stuff I have signed is probably worth more to me than any of the toys, I'll be honest. Although those are pretty awesome, but then I also have my collection of comic books, which are no longer down here. They're all my comic books and novels are all upstairs. Just because you know, they would kind of take up space down here, and I felt like they, you know, because I don't really read a whole lot down here. Like this is where I do all my work, all my drawing, all my artwork, and all that. So okay, well let's move all my, because like upstairs is more likely where I'm gonna, like in bed is where I'm usually gonna be reading, and so if I'm not on my phone, the best way. So you know, keep going. And my private trailer just like laying down. Hey, what's going on? Then this is when I got Snarl and Slack. $100, you know. So, but now, granted, they were used, and one actually, the slag actually kind of came broken, like his tail broke a little bit. You don't really see here because he's in bot mode, but it's not that big of a deal if you have him in robot mode. And even I don't display them with his butt hanging out, so it's not that big of a deal. So, but yeah, this is like the part. I'll get to it when I get to it. But this is like the coolest part of my. See, still no sound wave though. No sound wave. He's taking fucking forever to get here. But yeah, so not much changed here. More pictures for some fucking reason. The same shit. Oh, I put them in dynamite mode here, so. This makes me want to do like a dynamite shelf, but I don't have the space for it. I could actually, maybe I could get one of those like extensions, because I think IKEA sells the Billy extensions for their bookshelves, so that'd be kind of interesting idea to kind of work with. But, and finally got Soundwave. Soundwave finally showed up. It took like fucking months for him to fucking show up. I remember. It's fucking obnoxious. Oh, and that's when I got Swoop. But funny thing about Swoop is that when I first ordered him, or supposedly ordered him when I was getting him, is they actually sent me the Gigapower version of Swoop, which I still have to this day. It's still here collecting dust, because I'm hoping it goes up in value sometime soon. But now there's my Swoop, and actually they're still kind of display. I always have this, and I have sludge. Not much has actually changed with the way I lay out my Dinobots. Because and the reason why I do that is because Slag and Sludge were the kind of the original. Which I'll kind of get to Sludge. I probably should get the all 5 of them together before I get into it. But and that was the money shot for me. And that's where I got Sled. And before I get into that, when I got Black White, Jazz, and Sunstreaker, and Blue Streak, but I think Blue Streak broke. I think I broke his arm. I think you can kind of see it here on the side here. It looks like his arm. Maybe it was a. Oh no, that's Jazz's fucking rocket launcher. That's what it is. But yeah, I broke his arm, the arm on my Blue Streak, so I had to just put him in alt mode for the time being. Until I got a replacement for him. So, little funny thing there, but yeah, this was. I can't tell you how awesome this was. This felt like fun. On the shelf. Like, it was just the coolest thing ever. But yeah, so I have them displayed like this in. I still have them displayed like this. A, because these two are the smaller ones compared to these two. The big boys. Leaders. Unless it's Dinobot mode, then I put Swoop in the middle because of the wings. But just when I kind of arrange them like this, because Snarl and Sludge, or Sludge and Dinobots, Swoop and Snarl. So that's why I have them kind of arranged like that. And I still have them arranged like that to this day. This I started kind of. I got my hands here, but that's my creation, which are fucking pain in the ass to transform, by the way. They're a fucking pain in the ass Insecticons. But this one I was trying to experiment with lighting. I got these cool. They had really cool like color effects, like this red. I think there's a purple pretty soon. You can see that one. Yeah, there's a purple one. That's cool. I mean, it looks cool, has a cool effect. The problem with these guys is that the batteries died really quickly, and they take 3 batteries of the AAA batteries, and it just became too. It wasn't really worth it, like changing them out. We'll kind of see the lighting, how it kind of evolves over time. So I started off with just one, and I have one for Prime. I have the orange light because it's auto color. So it's a cool light. It's cool the way it works. There's different colors kind of go through. just for testing them out. It's a green. And then 220. Yeah, I guess I'll kind of talk about the lights as we go, but nice picture of all the. This is why I made a Megatron pumpkin actually that year. So there's that. So I need to do I want to do a pumpkin this next year though. Really do it. Here's just a really big group of all the ones I had so far in the collection, and I got a new blue streak, so he's finally back in the fold. So yeah, this is my team of Autobots for a little bit. Until yeah, you'll kind of see it in a minute. But here's me kind of messing with down here. You kind of see me messing around with it a bit more when you have the 2 lights now. I eventually end up with 3. Feasible. There's kind of because it costs a lot of money to kind of because it was starting to cost a bit more money, like just like buying batteries. You know, it didn't really become. It was just not really worth it to me. Cool. Cool. Guys gonna get them. Hey, we're trying to rest up. Oh, great. We're just kind of doing a stream. We're kind of going through my collection over the years. So right now we're actually in 2020. I was trying out at that time. I'll kind of show it off real quick for Dad Man. So we're at 257. That's where we are now. So I'll just kind of go through it. But this is actually where my collection actually started. It's this is what my shelves looked like way back in the day. Like it wasn't all that pretty from the beginning. So, but yeah. So, and yeah. So this is where I kind of started, and then that eventually led to this. So we had this. So this is actually the shelf. I still had a shelf actually. And then I eventually transitioned to getting a new Billy because I realized I needed more space because I was. Can't stop. So that's how it used to be. And I still actually had. It's kind of interesting because I actually still have the sort of angled shelf thing going on even back then. So, but we'll get back to where we were. Here, effect with the puck lights. They eventually, but I eventually got rid of them, which you'll kind of see at some point. Just keep buying new sets of batteries or it just wasn't really feasible for me. I was just like, it's cool lighting, obviously, like different color, with the purple and the reds. With the like the purple and the red were really cool with it, especially. But I'm just trying to see. Yeah. So yeah, from this point on, there's mostly just me, just kind of going through different lighting colors and stuff like that, and like the white, and yeah. More with the display now. So I think this one. Okay, so this one I was getting the cassette tapes, which are fucking shit. These are smaller ones, which I eventually did this year. I actually swapped out my tapes here. These little tiny Rumble and Frenzy and Ravage. I swapped them up for the Mastermind Creations. But we got Decepticons down here with Galvatron. We got Seekers chilling. This is when I first tried doing like fishing wire, or I think I was using some sort of like rope or whatever. I can't remember what I had here, but I was trying to make the birds here and Slipstream and Jet Mode kind of fly. But eventually I got rid of that. It was a little bit too silly. But and still the Autobots are kind of remaining relatively the same for a good bit of time here. Oh, I broke this. Oh, hold on, I gotta go back a little bit because I broke Smokescreen here. Seem like right there by the stop button. That's Smokescreen because I broke his. I think I broke his arm, and so I just put him in vehicle mode, and for the time being, because it's like yeah. The other my Donobots in the shelf actually decided to put them on the very, very top shelf of the Billy. just because I wanted more space for season 2 and season 1 characters. There's more better shot of the birds hanging out. And this is kind of a stupid thing I used to do. I tried. Not this one. Toys. Okay, I think next stream, when I do the stream in March, I think the first thing I'm going to do is go through all the different third-party companies, just because it'll make things easier for me to kind of explain things. But this is the and the Masterpiece version, which I had, which I discarded, had the cape and the crown from the movie. And so I decided to put on him so for a little bit. But the cape doesn't actually stick on him. They kind of put it back and hope that nobody sees the side. It was awful from the side and angles anyways. So we should probably see later on, I think, a few shots. But yeah, just trial and error. And then I have prime. I'll just kind of give Smokescreen a bite, and then maybe in between here, that shot. I love this. Galvatron, Cyclonus, Unicron. Let's go. Yeah. That's where I've started doing 3 puck lights on each shelf. Aside from Dinobots, for some reason, I think I was just kind of waiting for a puck light to come in. But yeah, not much change for the Autobot cast here. Anyways. Then okay, so this is where this is where everything changes for the collection, because this is when I first got into the whole idea of doing dioramas. That started all from this one batch I got from Toy Hacks, which is a company that does these nice that also do flooring and stuff. And they have different sizes for these backdrops, but I think this is the biggest one they had. I can't remember, but this is and it's still here in the collection to this day, this backdrop. But the problem I always had with it, even since when I first got it, was that it didn't fully fit. It didn't fully fit into the shelf. You know, you kind of see it's kind of, because you lose a bit of a corner there and there, and doesn't fully cover both sides of the shelf, and so it kind of looks a little bit awkward in a way. Now the way to fix that would have been to maybe just like pull it forward, but then you'd kind of lose some shelf space for more characters on the shelf. And so we'll kind of see how it kind of evolves over time. This is where it all started. This is where the dioramas all started, right here. This image right here. And yeah, you kind of see me. I was trying to scale up, and this is where I kind of started, where I sheet forward and put see. This is where I was trying. This is where I was kind of trying to figure out how to raise it up and on the shelf here. That way you kind of lose a like little white space up top, because I had trouble putting it in. I think what happened was I tried to put the shelf up another notch, but when I did that, the backdrop didn't fit. So this is the only way I can really make it fit into the actual shelf, was to put this little base layer on. Led to me doing, this is me kind of testing it out, making sure all the characters fit, and then I did this thing where I took, I think it's like some sandpaper like thing from Michael. But this is where I kind of started out. I kind of like taped this onto the foam board to kind of give it just like a little bit of a realistic sort of sandy base layer. Here's my kneecap. Look at that. Squeaker. Guys. I tried this, and so I was just doing this kind of like, make it look more presentable. And hey, Comic Relief, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Getting some soda in me. Need more caffeine. But yeah, so this is where it all kind of started out. When I first started getting into diagrams, is I just got this base layer of foam and put the and this is like sand, like paper you can get from Michaels, which I think they have good, like grass one as well, for doing like a base layer or something like that. But yeah, this is where it all kind of started, and then over time, and it's a pretty decent setup here, honestly. I was kind of proud of it. And then this is when I got Grapple and Trax and Inferno at this point in the back there. So yeah, and this one up here is actually broken, like his arm broke. So, and I think I used him to make a custom barricade, like in the kind of the style of the G1 cartoon. That broken. It's just, I think it's just like an arm that broke. So like, you just kind of and yeah, not much changed here. But yeah, so since you're kind of new here, Mike, we're just going through from 2019 up until 2024. So once it's done, because then kind of be caught up on the 20, because we're in 2021 era of my collection. So if you're interested in seeing how it kind of all started out, I'd recommend we watch. So been to the team as well as Cyclonus and Motor Master down here, and yeah. All my books, my comics, my novels, they're all upstairs. And I actually, these two statues up here, the Overwatch ones, the Murder Maker, they've been sold a couple of years ago. So, oh really? That's cool. You did backgrounds for these. That's awesome. But the rest of the ones I do from this point on, after that, they're all done by me. All the diary. Oh, this is when I first decided. Bruticus. So we got Swindle over here. I got Arist at some point, so she's right here. And then actually, this is kind of the same. Actually, this is kind of a Hound and Mirage and put them on this shelf. Okay, and we'll kind of get to it. We'll get to yeah. I move my season 2 here, and yeah, that's about it. Yeah, for a long time, them. So, yeah, I got Swindle on the ready. I think I had Brawl, but I've kind of entered the chat, so to speak, over here. So this is actually Devastator's current home now, and then Bruticus on the bottom. And then I just moved, and so, but this is where things I knew you need. And then, because things were starting to get really, really crowded at this point in the collection, so I was like, okay, I need a new shelf, I need a new bookshelf. shelf. Okay, very, very crowded. But that changes pretty soon. For lack of better terms, for a long time. Then there's better set up Bruticus. I used to have him with a start screen for a bit. The Insecticon here, he's blending in. So I put Hound and Mirage up here, and then put Sideswipe and Sunsugar up there. I think I just did that to kind of free up space on this shelf, and as well as keep using one just to get kind of a little OCD on that stuff. I like to keep season 1 and 2 separate for some reason. It's just the way I am. Let's see. Not much has changed here. Yeah, more the same. Oh, kind of like this is what I mean by the cape. I used to use the Masterpiece cape on a Make Toy Starscream, but I just put it in the fucking background because it stands on its own. So it's like if you have him, so it only really works if you have it on a from the side. Fucking stupid. So eventually I just got rid of the whole thing in general. Just got rid of the whole dumb thing. Just put it in storage. But my comics yet or my novels yet? I'm trying to see. So I have a bunch of Star Wars novels. Yeah, okay, and then there's actually this is the first, probably the only time I've ever had all 6 Mythicons together on a shelf. Because nowadays I have Shockwave on his own shelf, but this is the first time I had him with the rest of the main sort of Decepticon crew together. Yeah. So Swoop, Swoop's like, yes. Yeah, oh, that's where I put them on Dinobot mode for a bit. So this is well, because I usually will swap out Dinobot. I'll change them to Dinobot mode every now and then. Just because, and these are the only ones that really will transform most of the time because they work in both modes and for display purposes, you know. Get the space for it, so I don't think I can do that. Maybe in the future. Maybe in the future when I have a big ass mansion, all the space in the world, all the money in the world, then I'll do it. 2022 where the game really changes for the better, I think. And obviously we completed Bruticus at this point. And any new figures? Nope. Okay. Keep moving. Keep moving. And my old computer setup, my screen in the background, which I don't really use. All here, so they moved all the way upstairs, and I just kept, and then I made this one shelf just for all my Transformers here. Now, eventually, I do move my Decepticons out, but we'll get to that in a minute because we'll get to when the when I got the shelf in. So, but yeah, you have boxes all over the place. Like you can kind of see them over here and here, and eventually, just in this year, actually, I just got rid of all of them. So if I do sell them, that's not really worth. It's I don't know. It's not really that big of a deal to me if I don't make as much, if I don't have the original box. Not just that, people I think are more likely to buy a pre-owned one if it's in good condition, as opposed to a new one, because if it's in good condition and it's not damaged or whatever, then I don't think people mind. At least I don't mind anyway. But yeah, and they still look good, so that's all that matters. Yeah, I realized at this point, I finally realized that the cape was stupid. And then broken smoke screen turned him into that. Oh, right here is actually kind of interesting. So this is where I was actually trying to figure out, because originally I was thinking of putting the Stunticons on this shelf. This is the Gersby for my kit. And so this is me kind of like figuring out what it would look like to have Fans Toys Stunticons all on one shelf on this one. Now this is actually going to be turning now in the present day today. We're actually going to be using this for marathons, but this was really important because it actually kind of it told me that I could make it happen. I could fit a future MP scaled team in general. Any team probably maybe not the Predacons because dive bomb because of the wings, but yeah. So that's what this is what I kind of do for my dioramas in general. Is I'll take a character that I think is about the same height, so like Ironhide. Let's say, yeah, so like that character, it's like the kind of map out the bookshelf. Then I can kind of use that to kind of make the diorama or plan it out in a way that makes that so be icons for a long time actually, which we'll get to in a minute. But this is just me. But this is what I do a lot. I've actually kind of posted up online because when it comes to laying out a bookshelf for my dioramas, the layouts are very, very important. And so I've put a lot of like back on the shelf, back and all that. So because at this point I was kind of conflicted which Stunticons I wanted to go for. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to go for the Fans Toys like team or Carbots and then just have Motormaster here, or if I wanted to go with the Fans Toys or the X-Transbots, because the X-Transbots were about the same size as the Carbots. And so I was just like, oh, do I want to go Fans Toys or X-Transbots? But eventually I decided to go Fans Toys just because I think you kind of like the idea of them being the same size as the main Carbots. I just like the way the team looked more with Fans Toys. They look more uniform. They're all not too small, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I shop. I'm a big fan of IKEA furniture. But yeah, that's kind of like how I kind of map out a shelf. It's just I'll kind of have some old toys here. Oh, it's my cliff jumper. So that's the X-Transbots cliff jumper right there. So. Although I might be swapping them out for Fans Toys, but not anytime soon. I'm not really in the market for swapping at this point in time. And this is just kind of bullcrap. Do it. And this kind of became the main sort of Decepticon crew that we kind of see now. Shall we get to it? But we'll get that when we get there. Me messing around. Let's see. Trailbreaker. Oh, this one. Okay, so this one I was mapping out a possible like shelf for Trailbreaker in this. Okay, this is when I started really getting into the diorama game as well. Or this is where it kind of like went full throttle, so to speak. You know, because I was using Legos because it was really easy for me to kind of map out. It was a really, really useful way to kind of map out how big the chair would have to be, like how big, you know, depth would that have to be, like where he would sit, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, if you're doing diorama stuff and you're trying to map out like a chair or something like that, use Legos. Like Legos is very, very useful for that with like Transformers. But it's kind of what kind of the Megatron's dong. Dong shot. And this is when I made the I don't think I showed not in this slideshow I put together. I didn't show the full process of how I made this because I have a whole full video on my channel actually of me not building it, because I didn't start streaming diorama streams until the Golden Lagoon. But this is kind of where it all really started but I did show like some of the pictures of before and after when I was kind of putting it all together. So I keep going, but if I did the extension, kind of raises it up. But I knew at this point, if I got the throne right, I think there was like 2 different thrones. I had one throne that was kind of like meh, and then the one we see now is kind of one that I kept. So I think I threw the other one away. I used scrap part foam. And then it was nice. It's a really nice shot actually of the at some point. He might have shown up at some point earlier. And Shockwave there for a bit. At the point, I still work things out. At some point, then okay, and this is when I started the Autobot shelf. Because I knew that once, because when I did the Lincoln Memorial chair, when I knew that I could do that, I knew that I could make it. Chair before. And so this is when I was first laying it out. Now this one had to be laid out very, very differently than most of my dioramas, because most of my dioramas are a bit more simple. They're all built the same. The back one. But because I just wasn't really happy with the base layer, and then obviously this is what it ended up becoming. If you follow the videos where I made this, it's what it ended up becoming, and it's what it is to this day. Except for this, the sidewalls were still kind of bugging me, and so I filled them out, which you'll kind of see as we kind of go along. I did, yeah, so. This is the main crew. It still actually is the same crew on the Autobot shelf, actually. I kept them all the same. Only one I was kind of swapping out was like Huffer. Used to have kind of see more of once we get rolling with it. And this is me kind of, you can kind of see me mapping out the memorial this here. And yeah, this is where this, and then that's when I added the extension to the bottom piece. Now maybe trying to see if I could fit like inside the shelf, but I eventually decided not to put them on the shelf because they're just getting too cluttered. And I've really come to hate clutter on a shelf. Like it's kind of an OCD thing now because I have so much space now. Like, it's like this is a cool shot here. There's a Ron looking down and Spike. I really love this shot. This is like, hey, what's up? And I painted up the Lincoln Memorial Throne. And yeah, rest is history. I'm probably gonna swap out the columns. They're just like paper towel tubes together. But I saw some online for the actual columns of the Lincoln Memorial. I might actually buy those instead. Put one here, maybe one in the background here. But yeah. Oh yeah. This is me trying to fit Shockwave on the shelf as well. But I eventually decided to give him his own shelf because I think that he fit better there. So there's the main crew, which I have now. From the Rumble and Frenzy and Ravage, I swapped them out for Mastermind Creations because it's better in every way. And this is when I started doing more dioramas. This is when I did the Golden Lagoon. Now, this slideshow, I didn't actually show the whole process of it because I already have the diorama videos and all that. So I just kind of have it. When it comes, that sort of thing. So yeah, this is when I got the Golden Lagoon made for my season 2 butts. So we got Beachcomber. That's a new one. So And so I moved them back into the corner because for this point, each roll outside where they were previously, and so that's where they are now. You'll kind of see that a little bit more, a little bit going into 2024. For a certain amount of time, which I'll kind of get to in a minute. But this actually became the final home for these kind of shells. And this is where I did my first prime focus, the some of the other songs and notes. And this is when I got the new Billy bookshelf. And this kind of has kind of changed the game. We had Downabouts up here, season one bots, season one bots going up. They've been moved upstairs. Because my Motormaster, which originally for a long time, this is where the Stunticons were going to go eventually. Before I decided to go right here on this shelf, Decepticon side. So, and over here, over there. And I moved my Decepticon shelf up here, which I had to kind of extend a little bit when I was in the shelf, which I'll probably show in a minute. Oh, and we got. And I have a Huffer. I just noticed him. Huffer's been at it as well. Up in that little corner. And before that, I kind of removed all the lights, but I just tried to do pug lights up here. And actually, this kind of works actually for me. It's just like I said, it's replacing the puck lights that are kind of a pain in the ass of the batteries. But really try the same thing with my Devastator here for a bit. Then this is when I made the oil rig diorama. And hold on. Not even past 2022, and we're already losing my voice. That's okay. But yeah, so this is me kind of doing more of the same sort of thing. With the Inferno up here, I was using that to kind of map out where a trail breaker would go, which we'll kind of see a little bit later on in 2024 when I get this may play out for a little while. The oil rig, and kind of see the foam boards bending a bit, kind of bugs me. Yeah, this is a very, very. If you remember, if anyone was there watching that, more than it actually had to be, because I had the bright idea of gluing everything, all these little platforms onto the thing before painting the water. And painting all underneath the fucking oil rig stuff was a pain in the ass. Pain in the ass. So if I were to do this differently, I would paint the water first and foremost, and then paint and glue everything on top. Didn't because I was dumb, but lesson learned. But it just still looks pretty decent to this day. I'm gonna lie. I'm actually kind of thinking about using like a look cone on this. I just kind of get a more of a wet sort of sheen look with it, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, this is where I started to really crank out the dioramas, though. A nice shot of the Autobots there. That's cool. Oh, this is me making the training yard diorama, which I don't really use anymore. I mean, I have it. I just put it back on the shelf. I put on the Autobot shelf. But this used to be where I was going to eventually put the season 2 December as the size reference, and I use for just. But this is me just kind of figuring it out, and I was And I'll kind of get to it when we get to the actual diorama when it's finished. Yeah, so this was the diorama that I had planned for season 2. And the reason why I did this is because it's based on the Triple Takeover episode. Now, in that episode, you actually had the where you had all the Decepticons kind of turning on. Takes like that, and then Blitzwing went and took over the football stadium because he thought that football players were the most powerful warriors on Earth or something like that. He was it was a very, very silly episode. So in the background, you have a little bit of the football stadium as well as the vineyard sort of thing, like kind of like, you know, those kind of like underpasses where you kind of have like a tunnel, and then it goes into the like you'll have a tunnel on one side, and you'll have a outside the other side. That's kind of what I was trying to do, break between the tunnels, like from outside and inside. Or it's hard to explain, but yeah. But eventually, I do a little bit different diorama for season 2, which we'll kind of get to in a minute. But this is kind of my idea because it was like, oh, I was trying to in the ways to connect the whole episode to this diorama here. So, but we'll kind of get to that. Actually, I almost like. The funny thing about this diorama is I almost did a football statue. I almost thinking about doing the football stadium for them. Which I still think would have been really, really cool. But the one I do, the new diorama I put on this shelf I think is probably the right one to put on the shelf. Almost did a football stadium that man, so you might have been happy about that. I got Unicron, the Studio Cell one, which was fucking awesome. And which also shook up the space for a bit. Where down here, I was about to do a shop right here. Display. He's moved around quite a bit on the in this display over the years, and already kind of because I do use it. Okay, so there's a 1/2-inch foam board here on top for Galvatron and all them. But I think I swapped that out for a 1/4 inch later on and use this for something else. I used to use the train yard for the season 2 bots until I eventually swapped it for, but we'll see in a minute, in a few years in this case. And obviously, I tried doing different things here with the combiners and Unicron. Tried seeing what it would look like if I had Devastator down here, Unicron up there. Oh, and that's when I got Springer. Got Springer at some point. So there he is with RC and Drift over there. So yeah. Let's see. I have Windblade chilling with the Motormaster. And this is when I was starting the Shockwave shelf. So this is me kind of just planning things out. I was thinking about putting some stickers up here, which I do end up doing later on. Should kind of see, how this one kind of evolved over time. But this was more so me planning for future. Well, this is a kind of finished product without the lights, but this was the Shockwave base diorama based on the his old base in the Cybertron scenes in the old cartoon. About the space bridge, which there's actually a reference of the gladiator pits of Kaon in the background. Like you can kind of see it like right there where my cursor is. There's like a little gladiator ring, like that's supposed to be that. That's what it's supposed to be. And then obviously the computer didn't fully get show pretty cool. So that's a pretty cool shot actually with the Shockwave. But this shelf actually has gone through some big makeovers over the years. In more recent years too, it changed up a little bit. right here is where I'm actually kind of mapping out for, because originally I was going to have it be Shockwave, Reflector, and the Insecticons, like all three of them. They would just be like Shockwave and then shelf. That's the original. Let's do some background. We'll get to that when we get to it. And there's another shot of Dinobots looking cool. Cool. Yeah, not much else. We got just more shots of the collection. Oh, this is what I mean. This is what I mean when with this shelf in particular, with the but because there used to be this white gap here on the sidewalls, but that's I took the card and I put some construction on top of it, glued it on there, and then what I did was I took like tree elements or grass elements from Michael's, and I just kind of glued them onto it, and that way it made it look like there was like a kind of a going into like a forest area, because sometimes there would be episodes in G1 where they go from like the arc into like a forest, like kind of like in the Immobilizer episode in particular. And so that's what I was kind of basing it off of. That way, and now it's kind of just me trying to figure out how to this gap here, and it was kind of like very, very ugly. And so it's kind of my way. Now, I could have tried doing some sort of like rock facing, but I think that the green kind of helps make it all pop out a bit more. Like it's a little, it makes it a little bit different, not just like all just canyon stuff, But yeah, that's kind of the thing. And also there's like some little, you can't really see it very well, but there's some like grass or tree elements on the backdrop itself. So I was kind of using that as kind of like, okay, well, maybe it's just going into a forest type of area. So that was kind of the thought process behind that one. And more shots of the oil rig. Oh, this is when I got Wind Charger and Braun, the Bad Cube and X Transbox versions. So, and then yeah, this is pretty much the same sort of layout, except for I put Hover here, LeBron, and Trailbreaker goes here. But I just have them here because I didn't have a shelf for them yet. A nice shot of the Golden Lagoon. This is before I have lights, so the cons looking sharp. Shockwave looking dark. Dark wave. And you can kind of see the computer screens are fully painted in now, which is pretty cool. Got my that's my I just put my generations down here with Astro Train for the time being. But yeah, not much really changed. There's more stuff here. Oh, this is me. What's this? What am I doing here? I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Okay, this is me finding out the Galvatron shelf. Okay, it's what I was trying to do with the Ultra Magnus was I was trying to make it so that I could have a 6-shot on the shelf. I think that's what I was doing here with the Ultra Magnus right here. But yeah, so originally I was going to try and have like Sound Blaster 6-shot and then Scourge and Cyclonus with Galvatron here, right? And so I was going to have a 6-shot right here, and then so that's why I have Ultra there. Some of these pictures kind of confuse me. It's been a while, but yeah. So now I went a different route with this. I'll be going a different route with a 6-shot once I get them, which will kind of show off in a minute. And this is done minus the cast because for me for this shelf I just need to get an Ultra Magnus in order to figure this one out. So he's the big boy. And it's usually you need to kind of account for when it comes to planning out a shelf. Yeah, so I just had a deluxe blur here, a drift here, chilling, because using him as like the size comparison for like Cup and Hot Rod and blur and all. Mention more on the show. But yeah, and I got Batman up there chilling. So I have my comps here. Okay, so moving into 2023, I love this shot, wheeling. This is just me kind of playing around with different lights around for of it, but yeah. And I'm trying to figure out when this is me fucking around with different colors, lights. So for the KO version, it's the rose toy on the boobs. So it was cheaper. It was cheaper than the MP. So and this one I got the Cloud 9 Shockwave. I swapped them out. And this is when I realized I needed to change up the base layer for this diorama because he just wasn't fitting properly. As you can see, his foot's like kind of sticking out. And I also kind of wanted to do something a little bit different with this one because my mindset for this shelf in particular changed when I did the Galvatron shelf, which we'll kind of see in a minute. We'll get to it when we get to it. But then this is when I did the Fembot shelf with the lead one. And I designed this shelf. This is on the main sort of Billy. We'll kind of see how I've kind of evolved the shelf for the new display right now. But originally, I was having them. So obviously, this is Icon City. You have the arc in the background, or the base for the arc, anyways. But originally, I was shelf of one day being masterpiece scale fembots, which I'm not too sure if we're ever going to get, at least not anytime soon. So I made it so that I could at least display these ones that I have. So there's enough space for masterpiece. So that's why it's a little bit that's why there's not a whole lot going on the shelf, because I'm just kind of guessing at this point. So those are Mastermind Creations Insecticons, not the Fans Toys. Those are Mastermind Creations. Which are a pain in the ass to mess around with. But here's the they were pain in the ass to transform. But here's the Tokyo shelf, which is probably one of my favorite shelves. Honestly, it's one of my favorite arms I ever did. I think this one turned out really well. And you can kind of see what I did with this shelf. Actually, I did the perspective on it actually on the sidewall, so it kind of looks like it's actually going down a street there. So that was actually a lot of fun to kind of map it out. Also designing like and some of these buildings, I think one of them is just an AI generated building or a CGI one, but one of them I think was a real building. I think it was this one. This is the real it was kind of using as reference on the left side, but yeah, so this is for my season 2 bots, obviously. Eventually I put Blaster here this year, actually I did. But yeah, so this was a lot of fun to paint up. Actually, like the details on the buildings was a lot of fun. And it's not really all that intuitive, honestly. The designs, it's just kind of like me just doing random like scribbles like for the buildings, because I didn't want, because one thing there's a lot of energy on little tiny details. They're just going to get lost anyways by big robots. And not just that, in the distance, you wouldn't see a whole lot of details anyways when you're looking at buildings, with like all these different like markings on them. You're not going to really see them like fully clear anyways in real life, in distance. So, and for this shelf in particular with tracks, or with this building in particular, the reason why I put this little platform here was kind of raise him up a bit. And eventually I do put Inferno on this side right here, which is where he is now. Because that's kind of, and it is a bit more in terms of the vertical. So if I didn't do that, he'd be obstructed by 2 more car bots right here. So you just have like skids here, or Cosmos here, and then they each like block like a background. You wouldn't really see a good shot of him, and so that's why I did this whole platform thing on the. I kind of based this on an actual building. It's might be a little bit too far out in comparison to the actual. Kind of, I don't really matters that much. Okay, so there's my season 2 guys, and then this little red arch light thing was actually based on an actual like thing in Tokyo. So that was a lot of fun. Oh, nice! You're converting shot, yeah. Oh, you're custom painting it. That's cool. If that is what's going on, that's a cool idea. I don't know why Fansfist hasn't done that yet. Fansfist done the because in the match he became a good guy and stuff like that. So. Oh, and up here you can kind of see I just got Cup and Hot Rod, so you'll probably see more of them in just a minute. But yeah, right here we got Hot Rod and Cup, and then I got still have Blur waiting for a masterpiece, and then season 2 shelf is looking a little bare because I didn't have hoist yet. Got some, yeah, puck lights, but there's me messing around my shells. I put the MP Shockwave here because I had the Cloud9 up top here, just to kind of fill up the shelf a bit. Because Astro Train was a little bit lonely for a long time, actually, until like 2023 or 24, I think. Whatever. Yeah, and there's those guys. Not much has changed here. Oh, I used to actually put the these deluxe figures actually with the combiners for a bit. I like up here. You kind of see like Soundwave, Megatron, Shockwave. They're all the War for Cyber game one. I had from my childhood. So I have Cyclonus right there below Bruticus. So actually they actually do look pretty good with the combiners, like the deluxe figures actually. But yeah, at this point I was pretty happy here actually. This is the first time I had a full shelf like done, like diorama wise, but I don't say more because when I get to an end in 2024. Yeah, not much changed here. More Decepticons doing a thing. Oh, my room's fucking messy right here. Jesus. Shut up. Oh, and this is the lights. Now I got these lights on AliExpress. They're very, very cheap. Not too cheap. It depends on how much you buy. I think I got them for like $9 a pop. Exactly, in case playing Blitzwing. I actually canceled my order on the fan, so it's Blitzwing, which I'll get to in a minute because I actually have a segment in this slideshow dedicated to that. But for the lights here, I got them from AliExpress, $9 a pop, I think. The reason I like these is because you don't need any wires, you don't need any wiring, which is a big problem for me in the space I have. I don't have any outlets down in that space where my collection is. So I had to kind of go, well, is there some? And so I found these ones that you can actually charge up. You just plug it in. They'll charge for a number. It'll be good for a couple of days, and then eventually the charge will die, and you have to recharge the battery on it. And it's also attaches with like magnets and stuff like that. So it was like, oh, that's kind of clever. So nothing to worry about what lighting. Just taking 2 pictures of it. All right. And this is what happened to my Autobot shelf. It really changed the game for me a lot. And so still need to get lights for the obviously new cases. But we'll get to that when we get to that. So yeah, really like the way that all kind of came together. These more showing off. And there's the X Transbots Magnus and cup. So. And then it's not much. Oh, I put Shockwave in gun mode here for a long time, actually. Oh, and you kind of see me working on the layout for the Galvatron shelf down here, which you'll see more of in just a minute, I think. Shelf, messy down there, or the space down here. Oh, and this is me working out the Insecticon shelf, actually. Because this used to be actually where I put the Insecticons until I moved them elsewhere, which is where they are now. But originally, this was going to have a Nightbird, Insecticons, and then Ion Storm and Hot Link would go here, which we'll kind of see the finished product. Obviously, I use the game cases kind of to prop up Nightbird, just to kind of see how high it needed to be up in order to fill up that vertical space, which is important to kind of keep in mind when it comes to laying out a shelf. And we got Blur. Blur has been added to ranks, so that's cool. There's my Prime shelf. Changed much in the years. Just have all my ones from childhood. Saw some of the more recent ones I got. Kind of knows I actually kind of I had a lot. He had a really lot of, so I kind of cut a few ideas, but I did my best to kind of make it my own in a way. So, like the movie shelf in particular is like very much like heavily inspired by his. But these are like these little statues that are on the Galvatron shelf. Which I kind of essentially kind of idea I borrowed from him actually for his Galvatron shelf, because he took like Gundams and he kind of painted them gold and made them like the little statues in the corner, because there's in the throne room scene, because this shelf is based on the coronation scene from the '86 movie. So, and in that scene, you kind of see like these like big like statues of like former like Decepticon ancestors or whatever. And so I decided to put them there. Although I'm kind of considering getting like a Liege Maximo and a Megatronus to go there instead. Like I'm thinking of that actually a little bit more. That might be a cool little Easter egg to have, but I like the way I have them. And actually just those are figures I'm actually using for those statues. They're just actually the original generations of Drift and the Prime versus Soundwave, actually. So, because they're the only ones that really I could consider using as like little statues there. So, and we got the last, and what I kind of did for the movie cast shelf. Hold on, the Lookout Mountain shelf. I did with far. One thing I kind of did to make this a little bit different from Bobby's is I actually made the Autobot City in the background. So that's kind of made a very similar build. Yeah, a stringer in the back in the corner there. Hot rods propped up. Very very similar design, but it worked for him. So it's like, hey, why not? Yeah, I love. This is probably one of my favorite shelves, honestly, in the collection. And this is when I got more lights for. That was pretty cool too. And when I got the air made for the Shockwave shelf, because I was really really inspired by the Galvatron shelf, because of the way I did the base, which I don't think I put the base in this slideshow of the Galvatron one. The base and the Galvatron shelf, I was like, that's the way I need to go with all of them for Cybertron based like dioramas with like just like metallic paint and stuff like that, and like having like nice like breakups of color. Now I do eventually change up this one in particular. I changed it up this year actually a few weeks ago, but mostly just the middle stuff. I was just kind of adding a bit more paint to the middle Just wasn't really popping the way I wanted to. But yeah, it was experimenting. You got the throne room, like kind of right here. The way it kind of well, it'll probably get a better image a little bit later on, but Storm right here and Dirge, so starting to fill out the Decepticons finally. It's like, because for a long time it was just a few Decepticons. I was mostly just focused on Autobots because they were so now I'm really starting to get the Decepticons going. And let's see. IKEA Gersby shelf that I have. So this was a lot of fun to make. I remember having so much fun like putting this together. It actually didn't take that very long to actually make this diagram. Actually, it only took like 2-3 one post together. Really like moments. And sadly, I had to kind of break it apart a little bit, which you'll kind of see a little bit later on in the video, because I had to scale it to scale kind of later on. This was the layout I was going to have for Decepticons. I was going to have Ion Storm up here and Hot Link up there. I was going to kind of fill up I was going to kind of finish off my season 1 Decepticons. Season 2. And this shelf is just my Transformers, my Decepticons from childhood, all on this one shelf because I didn't really have anything else to put here. And and up here you can see a Decepticon shelf. So get to that in a minute. And there's a board for Fall Cybertron in the background. Great game. And there's what I did with that was I took a bunch of old like Transformers toys that were broken and stuff, and I just kind of glued them to the base of like foam board and like 3 inches up or 3.5 inch foam board. I glued the carbs all around it to kind of make it look like a big like junk pile, because the whole idea with this diorama was to be like a big like demolition derby, like run down one that the Stunticons have actually kind of like taken over. Like demolition derbies in the show or something. And so I was like, oh yeah, let's make that into a diorama. So now see they're in like a canyon type of area as well. So this is fun to do as well. Like I didn't mention this before, but this is when I changed at some point I changed up the season 2 shelf for the trading yard. I much more of Decepticons on the season 2 shelf, and you kind of, if you know the episode Triple Takeover, you know kind of why that's there. It was kind of like a very iconic sort of a very, very iconic shot. Play for like Train, Blitzwing, and then along with the cone heads for that shelf. So see the Galvatron shelf. Oh gosh, love that shelf. My Stunticons. So you kind of see like all these like little tire tracks here, like from like old like worn down like cars that used to occupy this area until the Stunticons over their own base or a little hangout spot. Yeah, a lot of fun. So you see a lot of like movie stuff here actually. There's like there's a Roadbuster or something like that. But, and the way I did this actually is I took a big bowl of like water and basically made a wash of the whole bowl, like brown and black paint, and I just like dumped all these toys inside of that. Let it sit for like a night, and then the next day it came out like had a sort of wash to all the cards. Done. Eventually, I did some like dry brushing into that. But Yeah, that was a lot of fun making the cars and stuff. And the reason why I did that also is to kind of give them a platform to stand up on, kind of fill the vertical space. So I have a breakdown here, or a breakdown's over here, and then drag strips over here right now on the shelf. Just because I felt like they should have, because like the only problem with the lights here is they don't fully light up the corners very well. And so I decided to put the brightest Stunticons in the corners because they're brighter colors than, say, Dead End or Wild Rider, because they're all like reds and blacks. So I put the white and yellow spots in the corner there. They'll pop out more in those areas than Wild Rider would and all them. So still waiting for Dead End, which is supposed to be coming out this next year. Here, like stuff, which is getting reworked a little bit. Hopefully this year. I'm planning to get a new shelf in at some point, but only time will kind of tell that. So, really focus on it. And then I got Thrust. Rounds out my very first two Decepticon jets, actually, from my childhood, actually, because these two were my very first Decepticons, actually. That's pretty dirge there. And now we are moving into 2024. Right here. Oh, so for new characters that were added to the collection, we got Sea Spray from Fans Toys. We got Cosmos from Toy World, actually. And that's about it. Yeah, on Facebook. I just don't really use it very much anymore. It's like just no real reason. It's just kind of like, yeah, I have enough, because Twitter like just takes that out of me. So I kind of blame my lack of presence on Facebook because, Twitter kind of it's a great place to kind of meet people and but also and so it kind of like burns me out. So for me, like nowadays, I have to take like a big like breaks from Twitter. Like I only use it for like communication or if I actually have something to say about a certain topic, But okay, I'll think about it. I'll hit you up if you if you DM me on Twitter your Facebook. I'll try to find you. How about that? My Bruticus shelves made. Hopefully, I'll get a better shot of real quick. Just noticed that right now. So yeah, these are the Bruticus, and I got the Ion Storm. That shelf there, and it literally only exists in my collection because I need the vertical space, actually. So that's the only reason those two characters exist in my collection. Now, actually, I do have them on the Shockwave shelf now, which we'll kind of see later on in the video. But yeah, in the corner you can kind of see Acid Storm, and you can kind of see Scourge. You can see Breakdown, and you can see Bludgeon in the corners there. But yeah, so the Volcano was for Devastator, because that was his first episode, was the Heavy Metal War, and there's a volcano scene in that. So I kind of felt like that was like kind of appropriate place for Devastator to kind of have to occupy. And then Bruticus obviously got to start in the jungles on that island that Starscream found with all those military vehicles. It was World War I, World War II vehicles, and that's where he kind of got the inspiration to make the Combaticons on the beach. So, and the water was actually a lot of fun to make. The base layer, like the water and the sand, like that was a whole lot of fun to figure out. And then, yeah, I got Reflect Light. I swapped out, and at this point, I swapped out my Rumble and Frenzy and Ravage for the Mastermind Creations. And I got Ramjet and the rest of the Stunticon, aside from Dead End, still waiting for. Still waiting for that bandit, but yeah. So it's been for a little while here. Yeah, this year actually I did a really good out the collection. I got the Seekers done. I got most of the Constructed Combat or Stunticons done. I got the Decepticon Trio from the movie. So also collection this year. So that was really. So I'm pretty proud of myself, honestly, for filling out the collection a bit more this year. So. Well, just showing without the lights on. I think pretty soon I do the wraparound with the black sheets. There's the prime shell for a little bit. Just now, this is where I got the black sheets from Walmart, where I use them to kind of black out the background. And I have to have my Dinobots in Dinobot mode right now. Looking great. That's all. I got Trailbreaker this year, so he's finally got his spot on the table. So almost done season 1 Autobots. We just need a Jetfire on the shelf, or not on the shelf, but and then not much changed here because we're waiting for a hoist. You can kind of see the little like papers I put on to kind of map out where characters are going or make a note. And I'm hoping to get a Fanciloid Warpath, but for now I'm just using the Generations Warpath. It still kind of works in the scale because he uses a mini bot. So, but I did want that Fanciloid one. But yeah, then we have Hoist. He's gonna go right here pretty soon. And then this Outback. I gotta talk about this Outback real quick. I actually got this as a gift from Extra Zero, who runs the what's it called? Figure Action podcast, which I think he's not really. I haven't seen him on there, but he actually gifted this to me because I sent him a drawing of Beast Wars Megatron, and so yeah, got Outback there, chilling the season 3 cast or the movie. And got Skiz and the season 2 show. Now we're just waiting for Steeljaw and Rampor now. So, and eventually I do get Reject and Rewind, which you'll see in a minute. Drift for a long time, but he's kind of in the he's chilling with the ladies for a bit. He's a stud. The ladies like the bad boys. So, and this Menace Master, because I was still kind of filling out the car box. But and this is actually kind of a very, very important one to kind of talk about here. Is actually this is how I'm going to probably end up doing combiners move. And I found out I could from this picture I was able to find out I could fit 2 combiners on one of the on the shelf right here, and so this is going to be really important later on when it's things here. I'm just trying to because actually I think that Menasor would have because this is me trying to figure out maybe if I wanted to have like devs. Because it would be just a combined team. Like so the first one that we had was Devastator, then was Menasor, and then Bruticus. I'm guessing February is when Onslaught's coming. I guess February, because they actually pumped out Brawl and Swindle pretty fast. Actually, they like pretty quickly actually this fall, so that was pretty cool of them. And then here is where things get a bit more complicated for me. So right here is where I was trying out a new and right here in this space right here, this is where I'm actually at right now, where my cursor is. This is where my table is. But originally the plan I was gonna have like bookshelves going this way, wall here, and now bookshelves going this way, where the black sheet is. But you'll find out really quickly why this didn't work out the way I wanted it to. The shelf of the figure on, so you can kind of see the volcano there. And this is a big mistake for me, putting them all on the shelf, because I end up having to take them all down and rework the shelves. Yes, but had to be done. But this is why it wasn't going to work out, because if I was going to put a shelf right here on this side, that would block this where I have my TV set up. And so I was trying to get another shelf like this, like on this side, and maybe a shelf in the middle between these two shelves. Just kind of break it. It didn't work out that well, so I had to go. I'll kind of show that other way out. Plan here. Set up my Lego bins here. My TV is going to go right here, and this is actually pretty cool right here on my desk. Is there like Optimus Prime, Megatron, like pen holders? Pretty cool. Do this like a black sheet around this, the wall. It's kind of the concrete and all that. But yeah, I really quickly realized I needed to change it up real quick. This layout was not going to work because of the bookshelves. Where the expansion kind of happens. When I went to IKEA, got 4 bookshelves, 4 bookshelves in one day. And after hours and hours of moving shelves, reworking some things, it's a very, very complicated process, but this is what I ended up coming out with. This is obviously the corner of the room in the back there for my desk. And I eventually built it out a bit more. And this is what we ended up with. This is the layout currently. And yeah, this is the future for my collection right here. Now I am actually kind of considering moving the Billy, or swapping the Billy with the Gersby, because right now, because the way they're set up in the room is that they're on the side walls in the basement here, and so you don't really get to see them at the forefront of the collection. So I'm thinking about maybe putting them in the corner here. That way you can at least the angle of the room. But I just thought it was kind of a cool sort of shape here, though, going from big to small and then big, small, big. I thought it was kind of a cool looking layout. But I might try a few different options here. Like maybe move this one into the corner instead, and then move this guy there, move this guy on the side here. Like there's a lot of different layouts in mind. But now see Unicron moved over here. He's up here now. And now Transbots, Protected Bots, my Streetwise and Groove. So they're right there, just chilling, waiting for more from my Transbots. Open finish pretty soon here, hopefully. I think their first day and blow coming next. And then I moved, and so for here, I moved my movie shelf here for both Autobots and Decepticons. I want this just to be the whole. I want the middle just to be for the movie. Then and the Predacons in a minute, because I think I have a slide of all that. But yeah, this is where things really started to change for the collection, where I got these new shelves in. This new layout. And the reason why I moved these shelves there is because that way it freed me up space down here to do aerial bots and potato bots. So, and obviously I moved a shelf. So, yeah, that's where the game finally changes. I think I have Hoist in the background there. I got Hoist at some point. And also I have I have a Eject and Rewind on the shelf now too. So just in the corner there. There's that big old prime. And then yeah, Blaster from Fans Toys at some point here. So he's right here now. Just chilling. And and I got the Dead End and Dragon at this point in time for Minosaur from a DX9. So, which by the way, I actually got DX9 for a pretty good price. Actually, I only had to pay because I only had to pay $180 for the Motor Master, which comes with all the combiner parts for us. So basically, had the whole fucking combiners for $180. So it's just a matter of buying all the different cards on top of them, basically. That cost the extra dollars, but it was a pretty good price, at least initial price, anyways. Yeah. Okay, I'll go when I get to it. But, I'll talk about what's actually going to be going in these cases, because these are not like permanent solutions. The ones in the middle sides here, which I'll see in a minute. But there's more pictures here, and I have some art here because I was moving some art around in the shelves. So, but right here, actually, I was originally going to put the shelf, but and there's more of kind of the same. This is my artwork, and that's actually the Prime in Megatron 1. I'll talk about that. That's actually a piece that Peter Collin and Frank Welker both signed for me back in 2019, actually, Vegas ToyCon. So this one right here is signed by Peter and Frank. Probably the most prized possession in the collection is those right there. So, yeah. We got some Psylocke and Black Cat art, which is pretty nice. So, yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for it to kind of shoot to. Okay, we've seen this before, buddy. God, I want to smack myself. I'll go back in time just to smack myself for not deleting these pictures from the slideshow. Okay, so right here is change for the middle shapes here, these skinny billet guys. So obviously this is just like kind of laying out the diorama for the Japanese shelf, the mountains and all that, with like the cherry blossom trees and all that. Shelf for me to just display my IDW characters, which are just Drift and Windblade at the moment. I might put Swerve here because I know Swerve was a big part of IDW for a little bit, and so why not? I haven't much to say yet, but one change you'll kind of see real quick is I put the fembots over here instead of on this shelf over there, and I also you'll notice that I moved the Insecticon shelf, which is really to this side to a smaller scale, which was kind of a heartbreaking thing to do because I really love making this shelf, but it was something that had to be done, so I had to kind of scale it down. And and I do the same thing a little bit later on with the fembots, their shelf, which is right here. And the reason why I'll get to the reason why in a minute. And here we got Swerve and Pipes for So my season 3 bots, just getting a little bit of a head start on them with the little guys. So I'll kind of let it roll for a minute. Play, motherfucker. What you doing? This is where I took the original diorama here for the bigger Billy shelf, and I scaled it down to make it fit in the skinny Billy. And so that's a good roll. And now this still theoretically do masterly scaled Lita 1, all them. This should still fit all 4 of them, at least these 4 characters in particular. Maybe an Alpha Trion could go in here at some point if they do make one, but we'll see. We'll see. Might be too tight if I have him in there. He's a big boy, but yeah. And obviously, I also touched up this time actually a little bit recently. I think I showed off a little bit. And then because I had a hot link and ion storm kind of on the side, I decided to put them on the chocolate actually make some good space for them, and it kind of actually works, which I originally didn't want to do because I felt like it was going to get too crowded, but I think it works just fine here. It was a little bit tight in the back, but I think it kind of works because they're seekers. They're not really supposed to be all that. They're kind of meant to be more like army builder characters anyways, so I think it kind of works out. And actually, I was kind of experimenting with a warm light because the lights here actually have 3 different settings. This is me kind of expanded the warm light, which actually looks kind of nice. It looks really good actually on this shelf actually, because it is supposed to be kind of like a sunset background. This one, yeah. And obviously I have the Nightbird here is going to go with Bludgeon because I think I can because they're just in the samurais, they're kind of up against the samurais or the Autobot sides. I kind of think that makes more sense to kind of have those 2 together on the shelf. So that, and because I don't know where else to put them, so so they get their own shelf. I might put more people in there. Maybe I'll get Puncher Counterpunch. If I do get Puncher Counterpunch, I'll probably put them in Counterpunch mode, this Decepticon mode. Just kind of fill the Decepticon ranks a bit more. But yeah. And there's my Christmas presents for my nieces over there in the corner, on that shelf. And not much really is changing, and this is my Christmas. Then there's the Japanese diorama I just put up actually a few weeks ago. This is a lot of fun to actually make, actually. Very, very different, sort of a little bit different environment. Obviously, I still do my mountains now. Enough to a little bit. This is a very different environment, you know. I think it kind of works. So, and I also use actually I used some like the fake snow, artificial snow from Colorado. It's up in the mountains area, so there would be some snow on the grass or on the pavement here. So, a lot of fun. But I touched up the base layer for this. I made more gold on the base layer because it was kind of nice, sort of ugly color of orange base. So now it's shiny with like some gold. So then my MMC Pro Detective bots, which I actually just got first day today. So that was really cool. So he actually made it just in time for me to do my collection update video, which will be coming up tomorrow. But yeah, this is my shelf right now, though. I have the X-Transbots in car mode because I'm waiting for them. Because I'm going to be using the X-Transbots for combined form. and then that's the plan there. And now right here is me working out the layout for my future Decepticons which I'll be getting the transplants for. I actually have the scrapper on the way, or else I have it on pre-order. I have it all paid for, so I'm just waiting for that one. But I'm just using these guys because they're about the same height. I think they're about the same height as what the X transplants are going to be. In the front on 1/4-inch foam in the front here, so. And I might switch some things around, move some of the rocks a bit, but this is basically the layout we're kind of looking at. And then here's the future Combatagon shelf. There has to be a bit more open area here for this one because of Onslaught. So I'm not too sure how big he's going to be, or rather how big the cans. I'm not so well going to fit on a shelf, so I need to have a little bit extra space in the front here in case I need to do some sort of like crazy pose for him in order to make him fit. So, yeah, I look forward to the Magic Square set of Combaticons. So, and then, okay, so this here is actually really cool. This is where it's underneath the Galvatron shelf. This is me kind of working out the layout for this shelf. So I have the because because what I'm trying to do is have all 5 combiners as limbots as well as the combined form on this one shelf, and so it's kind of tricky. Middle there kind of the issue, but I think I found this is actually kind of the shape I'm kind of like working with right now, as like this might be where we end up going. I think to find more most likely, but I think this is kind of like the layout we're going to kind of work with. You'll kind of see more of the layout in just a minute. In this shot right here, so or Diabon. I think Diabon's going to be the Rampage there. Tantrum, and then Headstrong, and then obviously Predicate would go here, and then that would kind of fill out the shelf. Obviously, this is obviously Motormaster is a size. Sort of just kind of like an example for size because he's about the same height as most like combiner team leaders. There's a lot to lay out a bunch of shelves, so kind of see a little bit more of that in just a minute here. Okay, I didn't show it in this one, but but yes, that's the plan here. Now for these individual cubes here, the way I'm kind of laying things out in my mind, at least for the Autobot side, is right here where you see Swerve, Hubcap. Is where it's going to be. Then season 3 will go right here below them, and down here you can't really see it too well because the tree is blocking it. That's where Broadside is going to go because Studio 7 just Zeta toys, the same people. They're coming out with Broadside, and that's where he's going to go. And then on this side, I'm going to put 6-shot right here where Shockwave and Soundwave are. Sound Blaster. And I'm thinking of doing, I don't think Dr. Egg will fit in the shelf. So I think he's a little bit big. And also, I want to do I have a really cool idea for the diorama. If I do the Hasbro Quintessons, so I actually I'll try a resin. But yeah, as much as I would like to get the Dr. Egg, the big, and I have 2 more shelves I want to fill up with figures. I want to put Octane on one of these shelves. And I'm not too sure about the. I'm not too like this is the one shelf I'm not too certain on is the bottom 2 in one of these shelves. All 3 if I plan it out correctly, but I'm leaning more towards the idea of putting Headmasters on this shelf, on the main Decepticon shelf. But kind of the point of why I moved the Fembots from this shelf to here is because I want to put Technobots there, and obviously on this side, the reason why I moved, and I want to put Terracons on this side. So that's kind of why I moved the Insecticons over as well, because I want to have some symmetry. Because I like the idea of having like the team kind of opposite of each other, you know, because you're gonna have Terracons versus Technobots over here, and then you have and down here you have Stunticons in the corner here, and then they're gonna go right up against the aerial bots, and then Predictobots going up against Combaticons, like that sort of thing. I like to have like symmetry in terms of the rivalries and stuff like that on the shelves. And and for the rest of the shelf on the Autobot side, right up here is where I'm going to have Computron and Superion, right where the Titan's Tower is. I just had that here for, it's not here for to stay, it's just kind of a temporary home for the Titan's Tower, but because I need to work out my Lego display before I can move that, because I moved a few shelves upstairs. But yeah, then right in this space right here is where Omega Supreme's going to go, because he's going to be squaring up against a Devastator on this side. So that's where Omega Supreme's going to go eventually. I'm hoping to get the DX9. So that's kind of my main layout. And then obviously over here with Menosaurs where Abominus is going to go. Now, ideally, I would have gone Season 2 combiners on this shelf. I put Bruticas up here and the Defender up here. And Computron and Abominus. But I can't logistically do that. And the reason why is because of Bruticas, because I think a year ago, I kind of messed up his leg. I was going to pose him, and something in his leg joint cracked on me. It's kind of a really difficult thing to kind of explain. Like it kind of like cracked. And I glued it back together, and obviously, and all that, trying to put it back together the best I could. But it's kind of like it was broken in a weird way, and so they popped up by the back wall. And so that's really the only way you can stand up properly. Now I could try putting him in a pose that would make him stand up properly, but obviously there's a big gap. There's a gap in the hard to get into, and so I don't want the risk of having it fall over. And so I'm just gonna keep him right here. Take the loss of having a Menosaur with Abominus instead, because I'd much rather have that than risk the chance of destroying my Bruticas. So. But ideally, I would like to have the Season 2 combiners on top, kind of squaring up against each other, because you know, my OCD. So that's set for that's kind of like the plan here. And for the top shelves over here, I haven't fully decided. I think I'm going to try for like a Star Saber, Skylynx, maybe. We'll see. For the time being. So, but yeah, that's basically my collection now. Right here is just my hopes for the future. Whatever figures that which I'll get into in just a minute. Yeah, clear my throat with some water, so I am losing my voice. So. Oh, shit, damn, I've been flying by. Okay. So obviously this year we are kind of expecting to see Fansoy's Dead Ends. So where I buy most of my Transformers from. So, like Dead End's one character I really want to see. Now this one kind of warrants a bit of discussion because I was then they revealed the colors, which is what we see right now, and I was kind of disappointed by the colors here. Now I'm not too sure if they're changing up the colors or not, if they're listening to fan feedback. It just doesn't. I mean, the rest of it looks good to me. Like the beige, the tan looks good. The red, like chrome, looks good. On them, it's just the purple. Just I don't know. Maybe if they kept this stuff and then just had like the I don't know. It's just not really the right purple to me on Blitzwing. So I'm gonna actually get this one. I should go for this one, which actually last year. I'm not too sure when this one came out. The Star Toys one. The Star Toys obviously Blitzwing. So I'm thinking about maybe going to Blitzwing. So, but we'll just see. I'm hoping this year we get to see the Onslaught pretty soon. This one looks really sick for Magic Square, because right now they're upscaling all their Combaticons for MP scale. So they just did their Swindle and their Brawl, and I'm guessing because the next one, that's kind of the way you build it up. You start with the legs, the torso, and then you get the arms on. So I'm thinking that's probably going to be the next one they do. But we'll see. And this is why I kind of have to be careful when I plan out the diorama for the Combaticons, because of these big fucking cannons on his back. Now hopefully they're extendable, like maybe you can like extend them downwards, maybe. But we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, they look good together. Like these are really like Magic Square does a really good job of like really giving them really good proportions and getting the character right on their figures. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them like upscale them. Right now we're in the middle of a devastator war of all these third-party companies. So I think it'd be kind of funny if they announced like a upscaled version of Devastator. Funny. I want that, obviously, because I want to see more season 3 and 4 characters. Like I want to see more Technobots. I'll see Terracons. But I'll kind of get to those in a minute. In my list of characters that I want to actually see more of here. Yeah. And we got X-Transbots Defensor. I'm hoping to see them. So, so from what I've heard, First Aid is going to be coming out pretty soon. So probably next month, when he's going to come out. And Blades are the ones that I think are coming out soon. Not too sure about Hotspot. Not too sure how he's going to be released. Whether be coming in, not necessarily, because when they did the Menasor, they had like a trailer that you had to buy separately from the Motormaster. So I'm not too sure if this time around they're going to have see. Let's grab a swig of Coke. My throat's dying on me. Okay. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see for combined formats. It's because it's going to be in scale with the other combiner teams more so. But being Protect the Bots, I'm also hoping to get Hotspot as well as the Blades that they're coming out with. And this guy, this is kind of funny. So a couple of days ago, I got my Streetwise in the mail. However, the person I bought them from on eBay, they actually sent me the wrong one. They sent me the toy deco version instead of the Toon deco version by mistake. And so Yeah, it was a bit of a bummer for me because I was wanting to get this one, not the toy one, but thankfully I was able to get a partial refund back. I got like 40% back, so I'm gonna have to sell. So I'm just gonna have to sell the one I have right now, which I'm trying up for the cheapest price on eBay, just because I just want to get it out of my house. I want this one, so yeah, I'm gonna have to rebuy this guy. Now someone will get their blades. I think it's coming out in February or March. It's that's my. So maybe I set the Zeta Superior on. Those are the ones I really want to get this year, hopefully. I might wait until the start of it. To get my hands on because it'll help me with laying out the shelf for him. I have a designated just for him. It's also okay if I really need to get it pretty soon. Also because he's getting up in value. Yeah. And also Jetfire. I need to get a Jetfire. And hopefully this year I can try to squeeze in the Headmasters from Fence Toys. So I really hope to build those guys out as well. And I'm hoping to get Steeljaw from Mastermind Creations. Steeljaw, the master. See you around. Almost done the stream anyways. I'm just kind of going over my hopes and dreams this year. Also, I want to get the long haul this year from Chance Boss. I'm going for Constructicons, so. And then just kind of the rest of the team. I think supposed to be coming out this as well. So there's Hook, there's Bone Crusher, just for actually. So I'm just kind of waiting for the release. I thought they were going to release in September this year, but I guess they got pushed. She got pushed back. But I'm hoping to have her as well. I'm thinking about putting her with the Perfecta boss on my shelves. I think he might fit back. That way I can kind of free up space on the Skinny Billies. But and this guy, Broadside, which I actually have a pre-order in for, but these are the ones I'm really looking forward to this year. Is the Bingo Toys Technobots? These are the ones I'm really gunning for this year. I really want to see these guys because Bingo Toys is really good when it comes to their paint jobs. So I imagine these guys are going to be painted to the nines. And they already look really good. They have really nice details, and it's a little bit stylized, but I think it's stylized in the right way because I think you still get the characters shown through, even though it's a little bit more mechanical looking, a bit more detailed and stuff like that. But I think that kind of works for Technobots, because they're supposed to be a bit more advanced and stuff. So I think they'll kind of work on a shelf, especially together, because they're mostly going to be, because for me, they're going to be displayed together. And so, and not with the other Autobots, it all kind of works for me. Kind of off to me, at least in the silhouette. But so I kind of want to see more of this Computron before I make a decision on getting this guy. Also need to see for the scale. I'm not too sure how big it's going to be. So let's pick going. And then this is where I get into the hopes and dreams of the of this next year in 2025 of characters I want to see either announced or released or what have you. And that would be the Mastermind Creations Ramhorn. Or because they're obviously most likely going to finish their set, but I hope they finish him off pretty soon. As for characters I want to see some third party. I really want the third party companies to really focus on season 3 characters, more specifically Predaking and the Predacons. I really want to see a good set of them at least announced this year. I'm still holding out hope for. I know it's kind of hopeless, but I'm holding out a little bit of hope for Fans Toys to come out with Zeta Toys to come out with their Predaking, because they had that model for a long time, like back in 2019. But they haven't. But since they've been doing other things now, and that whole hoopla with the Unicrons, I think that they're kind of in a weird spot. So hopefully they can get back on track and make their Predaking set though. But we'll see. But yeah, this is one kit I really want to see them make. It's like the Arachons and Abominus. And maybe Seacons. I don't really have a spot for my Seacons at the moment, but it would be nice to see them anyways for people who do have the space for them. So I don't really have a spot for King Poseidon, aka Piranacon, but it would be nice to see them anyways. Also on the list is Fembots. I want to see the original 4, at least these 4. I know there's a few other characters like Lancer and Greenlight, but I really just need these 4 Fembots in my collection. That's the most, and then that will kind of be good for me. So obviously I have the deluxe figures, but I would like to with the mainline figures, but I'd like to get I like to see some masterpiece of these guys. So at some point in the future. And then Sandstorm and Octane. Yeah, I'd like to see some of the third-party companies kind of come in and kind of do an updated version of these characters at some point. But only time will tell. And I think that's going to be it. That's all I had for my hopes and dreams for this year. So yeah, that was a lot of fun going through the collection over the years, how it's kind of changed and evolved. It's kind of a interesting sort of a dynamic that's kind of happened over here on the channel. So let's let it play it for now. And but before we end off, I actually would like to do a little bit of a show and tell because now you will see him later on tomorrow when I do the collection update stream. But I'd like to do a little bit of a teaser right now. Just get my camera set up properly. And let's remove you from the stream. And I'll turn my camera on. And this is the guy we got today in the mail. So we got our boy First Aid, the medic of the Protective Bosses from Mastermind Creations. Yeah, I'm already loving this guy. Actually, I'm really loving this guy already. Like, I think he's just has really good posability. I really love the feet, the way they're designed. So you get really good poses with this guy. Like from not almost every angle, but the way they're designed to kind of go downwards like that, you can get them like in really stable and really cool positions and stuff. You pose them certainly. It's kind of hard to with the camera in my way, but yeah, there's the First Aid. And while we're here, I might as well grab the other two rather that I have on me. Grab them real quick. So we got Groove from Mastermind Creations. I really love this guy. He's like, the paint is like fucking awesome. This guy, like, don't really see that much from Mastermind Creations. So it's really cool to see like this really nice finish on him. And then you have the Streetwise, which is what I kind of meant by they sent me the wrong one. They sent me the Toy Deco version instead of the Tune version. So I'm gonna have to send this guy back, or not back, but I have to sell him on eBay. So, and I'm actually gonna go for like a really cheap price, like $20 for them. Probably sell them pretty quickly, but I'd kind of like to get my money back from it. But yeah, there's my protector buds kind of starting to come together. It's nice to have them at least on the team at least. So, but yeah, so I'm hoping to finish this team up this year, at least for the bot modes. Because I'm going to try and get the hotspot and the blades, and obviously I have to replace this streetwise. But yeah, really looking forward to this year though. Actually, for hotspot, I'm kind of mixed on actually, because I kind of want to see how X-Transpot's hotspot fares out. Because I saw some of the leaked images of the hotspot, and I kind of like the proportions on that one a little bit better than MMC, just because they looked a bit more streamlined. Now I'm not too sure if he's like changed up or not, if they've done redesigns. So not too sure how much has changed with that initial prototype I saw, but so that's kind of why I'm waiting a little bit before I pull the trigger on any of the any of the hotspots at the moment. So, or on the MMC hotspot, I mean. So, but yeah, there's my boys. To focus, thank you. And yeah, it's gonna be it for me today. So like I said in the beginning, I'm not too sure if I'll be streaming this weekend because I have work on Sunday, and I'm not too sure if I'm gonna be spending time with family on Saturday or not before going off. And so I might do a stream on Friday if that's the case, if I do have stuff planned on Saturday. And for tomorrow, I actually have the collection update video. It's actually just uploaded, or not uploaded, it's uploaded, but it's not like visible at the moment because it's going to be one of those premiere things. So hopefully I'll see you guys in the morning for that, if I can wake up in time. Because I've been waking up at freaking like 11 o'clock lately because I've been staying up late all week because I haven't no work at all. So I just stay up late, so doing stuff. But I probably should start going to bed earlier now because we're getting closer. So we're only a week away from going back to work. So, but yeah. So tomorrow's the big update video, and yeah, that's about it for me this year. And yeah, it's about it. And obviously, I actually kind of liked how the stream kind of went. This is kind of a little bit of I think it's kind of a teaser almost for March, when I haven't fully figured out how I'm going to run that stream yet, but I'm hoping to do like a Transformers talk show on my channel at some point, which will kind of be kind of like this, where I kind of go through figures coming in or that are being released, or kind of going over news, going over that stuff, or just kind of talk about collecting in general. So there is kind of an interesting sort of conversation to be had about collecting in general. And so, but yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I'm beat. I'm hungry. I'm tired, and my voice is killing me. So I probably should go and rest it up because I don't want to be the Walking Dead when I go back to work. So I just want to say thank you to Comic Relief Crusader and Dadman for showing up, and anyone who's in the chat, lurking, watching, and listening to me mumble. So yeah. So on that note, I think I'm gonna call it a wrap right here. Cord stuck on him, but yeah, that's gonna be it for me. So I'll talk to you guys later. And let's find a clip to this off on and call it a wrap. And yeah, I'll do this one. So and I'll get to it when I get to it. But I also put a little thing there in the before I end off. I want to mention this is I want to wish both Peter Cullen and Gary Chalk the best because they're actually kind of going through some medical problems in real life right now. So I think last year Peter Cullen, there was a said that he was having trouble with his vocal cords, and so I'm not too sure if that's related to what's going on with him right now because it's not really last I checked, there wasn't. I'm not too sure what the situation is with him, but apparently he wasn't able to attend Baltimore TFCon this year. He had to kind of cancel last minute due to medical problems. I'm not too sure what that entails. So I'm just trying to spread some love if there's the rare chance that he's out there watching me right now. Because they're Optimus Prime. And also Gary Chalk, he's suffering. I can't remember what the diagnosis is, but he's actually suffering from cancer right now. Now, from what I've heard, it is a treatable cancer that he has, but you never know sometimes. So hopefully he's getting the best treatment in the world. Hopefully he's going to make a full recovery and all that. And yeah, just want to make that real. I just want to say that real quick before I end the stream because I almost forgot. I do actually put a little bit of a thing of that in the collection stream because I wanted to kind of bring a little bit of notice to it, make people aware of what's going on. But yes, on that note, I want to say thank you all for watching. It's been a great 2025. I've had a lot of fun, whether it be like draw streams, the dioramas, like all of it's been a lot of fun to me. And I can't wait to have more fun this year in 2025. So on that note, I will see you guys later. I think we'll end the stream on this guy because I think it's kind of fitting for this year. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. And yeah, see ya.
What's the matter, Chip?
I guess I was hoping Devastator might join the Autobots for good, but that's probably just a dumb old dream.
Hang on to your dreams, Chip. The future is built on dreams. Hang on.
Fellow Decepticons, take heed. Your leader, Megatron, still lives. Though we remain dispersed throughout the far reaches of the galaxy, exiled from our true home, we are all still Decepticons, united by a common purpose. The time has come for us to put aside our differences and act as one under my undisputed leadership. Only then can we cast off the shackles of Autobot oppression. Working together, we can raise up our glorious empire once more and crush all who stand in our way.